videos per chapter. So if you're really interested and you've got nothing better to do with your life, then you can definitely watch all the 9 videos if you have time to kill. If, however, you're busy, then you need only watch the first 3 videos, which are about chapter 1. So once you have watched the 3 videos, and if you have any questions, definitely you can get in touch with me. I'm always there on social media. I never sleep. So I'm always available. Okay. So yeah. Any other questions?
Yes. Some.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah, so therefore what really happens is that all this time before post-structuralism, gender identity was absolutely uncomplicatedly predicated on your genitalia. So therefore there was not any confusion. And then what begins to happen with the advent of post-structuralism is that we begin to understand that, genitalia does not automatically imply a particular gender, and so therefore what begins to happen is that we understand gender identity. What's your name? Straboni? Okay, Straboni. So Straboni, what begins to happen is that we are now beginning to think gender more as performance than as performativity. So what is actually happening, and for which I give 100% thanks to the trans community, right? So therefore what the trans community has done is to say, I get to decide how I gender present. So therefore what used to be compulsory is suddenly not compulsory anymore. So therefore the trans community has opened up, split wide open, the whole area of gender presentation, gender performativity. So therefore my answer to your question would be that we used to assume gender once upon a time. Gradually what has happened is that gender is ceasing to be performative. So it is less and less performative. Now it is more and more performance. Something that I will have to mention, I'm digressing a little bit, but something extremely sweet happened yesterday. I was having a friend over for lunch. And to all intents and purposes, this is a heterosexual male, goes to the gym for 13 hours a day, and has biceps as wide as a small country. And I, absolutely, and then, we finish our lunch, and then we're sitting on the bed and we're talking, and he says, oh, I think there is something that I would want you to see. And I said, what is it? And he said, please look at my feet. And I looked at his feet, and the toenails of both his feet, the big toe, the nails were painted red. So I thought, oh, first of all, congratulations on gender fluidity. Do explain. And he gave me the words, I'm going to try not to cry. And he said, well, because when I do gymming, I have dropped weights on my toe so often that the toes are now, they're looking like there's been an explosion there. So my mom, she looked at my toes and she said, those are bloody ugly toes. Let me paint them. What a rock star mom. What an absolute rock star mom. And I said, I've never met your mother, but I think I love her. I think I love her. There is another story of this student of mine who said one day, sir, I think, it's very funny how I often tend to work as a father confessor, because people sort of confess their deep, dark secrets to me, knowing very well that I'm going to publish them, at the next seminar. But still, they know that their secrets are not safe with me. Every secret that I've ever been told, I use it in my next seminar. So this student of mine, he said that I want to tell you something that I've never told anybody, and I don't think I ever will. And I said, what is it? He said, I have always loved lac, that is to say alta. And I've always loved lac. And I said, I don't understand. She says, no, because you see the way in which women use the lac to outline, their feet, and I just think that is so pretty. And I said, yeah, okay. And then he said, no, I'm not done. I liked lac so much, I used to paint my own feet with the lac. And I said, how old were you then? I was a schoolboy. And I said, oh my God, you must have gotten beaten up and all of that. And this is where, this is where I'm trying not to cry. He said, I would only be allowed to put lac around my feet when father wasn't home, because my mom didn't have a problem with it. I don't know where these rock star moms come from. My mom didn't have a problem with it. So every time father would be away for a few days, mom would say, Alta purbi. And I'd be like, yes, and it became this very interesting kind of, conspiracy between the mother and son. You've never heard a story like this before. It became this conspiracy between the son and the mother. Every time the father would be away, the son would actually put alta around Ma's feet, and Ma would put alta around the son's feet. It's not in a story. I didn't make it up. It happens. So therefore, do you see that we have moms who, maybe because they have understood what an oppressive structure gender is, they are always, and every time I meet, a trans person or a gay man or lesbian man, 99% of the time, it's the mom that they confide in. It's the mother that they get the support from. Very rarely the father. And I'm not blaming the father over here, because the father, poor dear, thinks that they are empowered by patriarchy. Such a mistake. Because what the father does not understand is that the father is also oppressed by patriarchy. The father cannot step out of their gender. But because mom has already understood what a prison house gender can be, she is always sensitive to the way in which the male child or the female child wishes to step out of the boundary of gender. So, I'm sorry, that's a really long answer, but things like that are happening. Thank you. Yes?
So, Bangla বলছি। আপনি বললেন যে পারফর্মেটিভিটিতে উইলিংনেস বা কনসেন্টটা ল্যাক করে, পারফরম্যান্সে সেটা হয়। বাট পারফরম্যান্স যখন হচ্ছে বা আমি আইডেন্টিফাই করছি হি অর শি হিসেবে, তখনও যে জেন্ডার নর্মসের আমি পারফরম্যান্সটা করছি, সেটাও তো বেসড অন সোসাইটাল কনস্ট্রাক্ট। আর সেখানেও পেট্রিয়ার্কিটা অনেক বেশি প্লে রোল করে, কারণ ওই কনস্ট্রাক্ট তো পেট্রিয়ার্কি। তো আমি কোনোভাবে তো পেট্রিয়ার্কির সাথেই সেই কানেকশনটা
No, this is a good question. আর এই কোয়েশ্চেনটার আবার আরো এটা আরো ramifications আছে, but did everybody hear what he said? Okay. Yeah, so if you are saying, and this is a very, very common question that I get, when somebody is calling themselves a trans man or a trans woman, are they not falling back into the gender binary? তাহলে আর subversion কোথাও হলো স্যার, তাহলে তো একই হয়ে গেল না। It is still subversion. And it is subversion because if you think very, very carefully, when we think of a man, we automatically assume a kind of anatomical normativity. ফলে যেই মুহূর্তে সেই anatomical normativity-টা challenged হচ্ছে, so therefore the moment I'm saying that I am a man with a vagina, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে কিন্তু ম্যান বলতে আমরা যেটা বুঝি সেটা কিন্তু ডিলিঙ্কড হয়ে যাচ্ছে ফ্রম দ্য বডি দ্যাট হ্যাজ এ পিনিস। এই যে ডিলিঙ্কেজটা যেটা হচ্ছে, তখনই কিন্তু ম্যানের ডেফিনেশনটা তখন গন্ডগোল হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তার মানে কিন্তু এর পরে আর আমি কখনোই অ্যাজিউম করতে পারবো না যে নিজেকে ম্যান বলছে তার পিনিস আছে। তাহলে বুঝতেই পারছো যে মানে আমি যখন এই ম্যানটা নিয়ে এই কনফিউশনটা যখন একবার ক্রিয়েট করে দিলাম, there is no going back. ফলে আমি মানে সরি, হোয়াটস ইউর নেম? Sudipto. So Sudipto, I hope you know that after a trans man has undergone some amount of gender reassignment surgery, some amount of hormonal treatment, you will not be able to tell a trans man from yourself.